I'm going to ask that you fasten your seatbelt.
I was excited and naive, and I thought this is just a little casual, like, meet, just like he's met my mom so many times. Like, I'm just casually meeting, you know. I think I wore jogging bottoms.
It didn't go terribly. It did
go terribly. Don't lie.
I don't think it went terribly.
Babe, how could it have gone worse? That's what I felt for months after. There's something wrong with me. Like, that went wrong because there's something wrong with me.
How many things do you need to point to the fact that you're not meant to be with somebody? The meetups didn't work. We've got shaytaan messing with us in our heads and stuff like that. Nothing's really going smoothly. There's family disputes. These two guys, it's just not really working out for them. And we're forcing it. And then I lost my job. I'd actually considered going to your parents and saying, look, I'm not the right guy. I can't provide for your daughter. Assalamu alaikum guys, what's going on? We are the X's and welcome back to the channel. So today is actually an interesting topic. You've already heard about how we met. It was rather eventful.
Sweet.
Dry like sand for others. Apparently, it depends what you're into. However, that wasn't the full story. It was a lot more complicated.
Stressful.
Very stressful. We have some regrets over the way that we approach things. We both made errors. It's actually a point of, we actually fall out about it.
It's the one thing. It's the one thing that when it comes up, we have to agree to disagree because it gets too things go off.
So during this period, there was a point or many points, numerous points in which both families did want to pull out, and rightly so. Totally understandable on both parts. They would have been well within their rights to pull out, and the exes would be no more. Well, it wouldn't have been no more. You would have never known about us to begin with, innit? Maybe I'd be living happy somewhere else.
People always say that I was so happy on my wedding day, that I looked so happy. And they don't understand. I didn't think it was going to happen. Like, even on the day, I was thinking, is this about to fall through? Like, nothing was a given. The whole way was extremely stressful. I did not enjoy the run-up to the wedding. It was not fun. Can you see the beef in my face?
So we thought that we'd use this conversation as like a learning journey for others, for ourselves to reflect on things. We'll tell you how it went, all the complications. There were a lot of twists and turns. Make sure you stick around till the end of the video as well to find out like how we actually feel about the way we approach things and what we would have done different, I guess, moving forward, and what our overall conclusions are. Let's make a truce before this video starts that we're going to be peaceful and come out of this as a happy couple.
Yes.
Okay?
We've got Amaya. I just keep thinking about Amaya.
I forgive you in advance for everything that you're about to say.
You're the editor.
So for anybody who's not watched our How We Met video, I will tag it in the description. I'll link it up here. Is it up there? It's somewhere. We'll just give you a bit of context quickly. Yeah. So before we did meet Amara, where were you at in life? What was going on with you?
I was 24. I was young and excited. I lived at home with my mum and my sisters because my parents are divorced. My health wasn't great. My health was like a stumbling block, like all the time. But that was my whole life, so I was used to that. Trying to get into teaching a little bit, but not that fast. I was working at Holland and Barrett, just making sure I worked, basically. I felt a bit like I'd grown up the most I could in the house, which I know isn't true. And people live to like 30s and everything in their house. It's not like that. I mean, for me personally, it was like Groundhog Day. Like, every day was kind of the same routine. And I wanted a bit of change. And I wanted to do other things and be bigger, but I needed to be in a different environment. I got so excited for when I'm married. It's going to be a whole different setup and I'm going to have to figure that out. And, you know, I was ready for that. Yeah. But I'd been looking for somebody to marry since I was like 21. So I've been looking for 3 years, like on and off, like considering people and being like,
So did you meet people?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Were your parents aware that you met people?
It got serious once, but I was very young.
Okay. And
that would have worked out terribly. So my parents had met their parents, and it would have been a terrible situation.
Okay.
Terrible. When I think of myself at 24, I think I was very excited. Probably naive because I didn't know much about guys or life, but very excited and wanting different opportunities and different experiences. I took this job where I was working till 4 a.m. on Wilmslow Road, like, which is so crazy to me now. Like, what a stupid thing to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, anything new and different. I was like, oh, that'll grow me. So yeah, that was me. I was just really excited for a new part of life.
Yeah, totally understand.
What about you?
You
were a man.
I was 29.
Yeah.
About to turn 30. My whole professional life since like 21 years old, I've been teaching. and I really was not happy with the job I was in. Wasn't really happy with the direction in which my life was moving. I don't know, I felt like I went from 18 to 28 and those years just disappeared, and then I was like, okay, let's get this together. So I'd kind of been like trying to sort my head out for a year. I didn't enjoy where I was in life mentally. I was in good shape, that's about it.
Oh yeah. I remember a picture I saw. I saw a picture on your Instagram. You had massive muscles. Like, oh, he's a man. Like, what a man.
I was gonna say, well, it's not changed, does it? But I did that every video. Women had been a big distraction for me in life. It was just something that interested me. Love has interested me. I thought once I settle down, I'll have so much of my life sorted, and then I can kind of channel myself.
You're a romantic boy.
I'm
as
a
well.
romantic. I can channel myself in other avenues.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously maybe like some other personal issues inside. Maybe I wanted the emotional security of being in a relationship. Possibly. Yeah? Who knows? So at the point just before I met you, I'd actually vowed to stay away from women. I don't want to like be pursuing women. I don't want to think about women. That side of life can come when it comes. And it was actually the first real point in my life where I decided I'm going to cut all contact with women out per se. Not all contact, like I'll talk to people just because I like female interaction to some degree, but I'm not pursuing anything. I'm not being anything serious. Just leave it there. And then you popped up. Yeah, which is a bit of a
who slid into whose DMs.
When I met you, obviously I wasn't ready for anything. You were actually the first. It sounds bad. Basically, I've been living in a Kafir world.
Sounds like a Disney story.
I'm a Muslim.
I've been living in a Kafir world.
I've been living in a Western world.
Yeah.
Born, raised as Muslim, practicing, but then you go to college, you go to university, you end up in these teaching jobs, and my circle, although my friends were mostly black Muslims, or well, some were Muslim, some were not, my circle wasn't the most practicing circle, and definitely the women that I was exposed to or were around, just like your normal friends or friends and that you interact with, even at the work circles, they weren't necessarily the most practicing women or even Muslim women. Yeah. Anyway, so I met you and I'm on my deen, I'm practicing properly. I want to meet somebody like this eventually, and then you popped up. So I thought, okay, interesting. She's a hijabi, she does deployment, she does this, she does that. We started talking. We actually clicked.
Yeah.
But I was unfamiliar with how to proceed per se with a Muslim girl.
Yeah.
See, this makes it sound like, oh, so you just proceed with random. Do you know what I mean? There's an etiquette, there's a way that you have to approach. But I just talked.
There's a sensible structure.
There is, yeah.
Format to
we
it.
are going to do this for this reason. Here are barriers that we're going to remain within, and then we'll progress, and then we'll get your parents, and then we'll go marriage. And that wasn't what I was aiming for, because I just shut that down. So I just spoke to you like I was speaking to anybody.
Yeah.
And the conversation wasn't really flirty. I
No.
wasn't
We're
flirting
just talking
with
about
you.
things that we're interested
We're just
in.
talking about it. Yeah. And then before I knew it, like we'd met up and you felt different meeting you to like, I'd never felt like that before around anybody. And it kind of spurred something inside me where I thought, okay, you need to make an adjustment, Sufyan, because maybe you need to treat this more seriously. And remember, I was really reluctant to meet you. It was because I don't want to mess around.
And I wasn't reluctant to meet, because I was in a phase where if there was any interest with anybody, or somebody expressed interest in me, then we proceed with steps of like getting to know each other and stuff. Like,
formal.
don't waste time in it, because
yeah.
either it's a yes or a no straight off the bat.
Which is the right way to do things.
Yeah, like, I was like, we were
makes
talking, we were getting on so well, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so new. Like I get on with them so well. We're so like the same mindset with so many things that I had not found in anybody else. It was like you were from a different planet. I felt like I was from a different planet, and you felt like you were from a different planet. And I was like, finally, somebody that understands these things. I was like, why doesn't he want to meet? Like, that was my way of proceeding, basically. I was like, I don't want to keep talking to you if we're not going to meet them. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to start texting you for months, because you were obviously a confident guy. You presented confidently, so I was so confused why you wouldn't meet. But on your side, you had just sworn off women.
I was sworn off women, and I was respecting you.
Yeah.
People who are a lot more authentically following Islam might be like, well, you just don't do that anyway.
Yeah.
But look, I've been socialized in a certain type of way. You got to go way back to childhood and college decisions, uni decisions, to figure out where we are. I wasn't as mature then as I am now, and I was looking at life through a single scope. So yes, I would have done things differently now, but if I went back to 30, 29 years old, I'd probably do it exactly the same way, regrettably so, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember being single and like walking in the dark at like 1 a.m. just for joke. I'd be like la la la, walking around like not safe places, like la la la, and I'm thinking no,
Different
at
world,
29,
right?
I would never do that.
You won't do those
I
things
would
now.
never. I don't do like when you're young and single, it's just different.
You look at life differently. Yeah.
So you and I, were talking to each other and like trying to get to know each other, and my mum was like, "Get to know him here, innit?" She was like, "Be in this space. Don't go out and meet him. If you want to get to know him, like be around your family," which I liked. I
thought that was good.
So you would come over to the house. You met my mom and my sisters. My sister Bonnie hated you. She would give Sufyan the meanest stares. Like she just did not like him. She didn't trust him. She didn't like him. She didn't like him in the house.
Do you know what? She didn't like my perfume. She didn't like anything.
Oh yeah, remember? She'd be like, your haircut. Like,
but I made her laugh.
Yeah.
And like she even used to film me sometimes. Used to keep the videos because it was like, oh, there's something I do like about it.
My parents were divorced, and we're not around any guys ever. We're not around our guy cousins. Really, they live in Scotland. Yeah. We're not around any family friends that are guys. So you're alien, and
and it's just a guy in the house.
Yeah, we've not
Some
even
mixed
processed
race guy
how
comes in with big muscles, walking around like he owns the show, twice as tall as
trying to
everybody
steal
else.
her big sister.
But
yeah, my mom likes you straight away. I'm pretty sure anyway. Like you and my mom have an amazing relationship.
Yeah,
I could see in her face that she just liked you. Yeah. Like she felt soft to you straight away.
Your mom has given me nothing, but I've just loved her straight away. Yeah. She loved me straight away, and I loved her straight away. When we got married, I couldn't wait to hug your mum.
Yeah.
That was the thing, that one of the things is that, okay, look, I'm going to hug my wife and that. And there's even on the wedding video, I gave her a hug for the first time. And I literally thought, oh my gosh, mum, you've done so much for me. And you've like took me in straight away, and I couldn't wait to hug your mum because she'd melt. You know, she's just.
I
so
love that you can give my mum.
It gets me a bit emotional. That.
No, but she liked you straight away.
Yeah.
She liked you straight away, and she knew why I liked you as well.
Yeah.
The other one, Sarah was cool.
She was down.
So you would come over and spend time there with me, my sisters, me, and my mum, and you were around my family a lot, basically because of that. And then because of that, on your side, I hadn't met anybody yet. Yeah.
We come from, or even I'll speak about myself and Amara can say whether it applies to her or not. We've been socialized and brought up in certain ways, yeah? By the way, this is no shade to our parents at all. They're the best parents in the world. I'd never have a bad word to say about my mother or father. You went to a mixed college?
Yeah.
I didn't put up any resistance and say, send me to a mixed college. I was just said apply for a college, and went to a college. It was a mixed college. Went to university, which is obviously a mixed setting. After university, end up going into the working world, which is a mixed setting. And it just so happens that in these places, which we've now, let's say from like the age of 16, for 10 years, we've been in social environments where you have access to the opposite sex. When it comes to meeting somebody, you want to know them. Do you know what I mean? And it just so happens that the basis, so you compare it to how you know other people, don't you? I know this girl from work so well.
I'm around this person at college all day. Why can't I be around this person for an hour or two?
Inside out. Not necessarily inappropriately, but I'm just around them so much that I know so much about them. I know whether they would suit me or whether I would suit them. And do you know what I mean?
You know what it feels like to stand around them.
And that's what it is. You learn a lot from somebody by standing in front of them, how they feel, how they present, how they look at you. You know, things like that. So I understand that Islamically there's a different way to go about it, which is most definitely
superior
to the way that we went about it or that I went about it. But these things have to be integrated from early on, so that your point. Do you know what I mean? You've got a blueprint.
You got to learn the way to do it before you're in the situation where you need to apply.
And it can't be that I know a random girl from college or a random person from work more than I know the woman that I'm about to marry. So when I got to know Amara, it was like, okay, well, I need to speak to her and spend time with her. Amara's mum said, well, come and meet in the house, sit in the house where it's halal. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that is halal.
I remember you had that thing as well. You said, I can't know the girl from work better than I know the person I'm going to marry. How can I? You kept saying, how am I around the person from work? And I don't know what it's like to be around you.
And you wanted to get married really quickly. And I was like, well, I don't know you. So then it comes to the point that I'm actually getting to know Amara in Amara's mum's house.
Getting to know my mum as well.
Getting to know her mum, getting to know her sisters. And it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to marry Amara. I was just getting to know her. And that's my fault. Yeah. I messed up at that point because I was just young, navigating through a situation which I didn't really know how to navigate through. And then obviously Amara says, well, I've not met your family yet.
You're just doing it for us a safe halal way for us to get to know each other. You're not thinking about what
Not
it means to come over.
No, I do know that you're a marriage potential for me, and I do need to take it somewhat seriously.
Yeah.
But introducing parents to
Is a
me
step.
is like, okay, well, what comes after that?
Yeah.
You might as well get married then. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I was so scared to do that. But obviously, I felt like I had to even the playing field. When adults live with adults, be that your parents or not, especially in the way that today's world is structured, it's very difficult for them to
cohabit.
It is, because I'm a man at work, but in the house I'm a kid. You know, having autonomy and being able to make your own decisions and being taken as like the man that you are, you can't have that at home. You can't have, you're just a kid.
Yeah.
And even if you believe something or want to do something or think something different to what maybe your parents think or the authority figure there is, it causes conflict sometimes. Yeah, it can trigger certain people. Sometimes our parents are have trauma from their past, trauma in their own relationships. Your parents are divorced. Sometimes people have got wounds that are still wide open.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So home was a bit difficult for me. So my family knew about you, obviously. They were very happy with the fact that I was speaking to a Muslim from a good background who's educated and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that, innit? It not being the best situation for me at home at that point, with my dynamics, and me not being too sure about what was going on with where we were heading and stuff like that. Probably not the best time to introduce you to my family, but then I felt obliged to. So I did. It didn't really go well.
It went horribly.
Yeah. Amara actually came around to the house by herself, which was wrong of me to invite you to my house by yourself. You should be with your parents.
I was just excited. I was excited and naive, and I thought this is just a little casual like meet, just like he's met my mom so many times. Like I'm just casually meeting, you know. I think I wore jogging bottoms.
You just came in.
Yeah.
Look, do you know what it is? We were
Not to be bummy. It wasn't even planned. It was just spontaneous at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't on
do you know
this
what it
day.
was? It was me being conflicted. I'm gonna hold my hands up and say that the way that it ended up happening, it was me giving into the pressure of you wanting to meet them and me wanting to make you happy, and not really being man enough or strong enough at the time. Well, just not having my head in the right place, approaching it like it's not a serious situation, and it just happened to become more serious than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And I kind of gave into the, okay, well, look, Amara, look, I'm actually serious about you. I'm not doing no weird things. So come and meet them. You can come meet the family if you want. No bigger. And then we just brought you into the house.
Yeah.
By yourself. It's not that people ate her alive. No, it's not. It's not. There's an etiquette to meeting families. The way that it was in your house, because there's a divorce there and your mum's running the household, it's a totally different environment to the way it is in my house. And your mum knew about me, and you're a lot closer to your mum with the open conversations about what was happening because you're a girl than me, who's a bit more private and closed up. So I guess my family was expecting to meet you in a more kind of formal way, but it was a different dynamic to the way that I went into your house so casually. It didn't go well. It didn't go well. It didn't go terribly. It did go terribly.
Don't lie.
I don't think it went terribly.
Babe, how could it have gone worse? Don't lie, bro.
Well, what happened?
This is the real honest behind the scenes of how we met.
I don't think it went terribly.
Terrible would have been an ambulance or a death or something.
Come on.
It
was a bad idea. It was a bad idea.
My tear-stained pillowcase attests to the fact that it went terribly.
What should have happened is your mum should have come with you.
Yeah.
Or your dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we shouldn't have done it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the time, stupid us decided to take the rules which have been prescribed in Islam very clearly into our own hands and do our own twist on it. And at the end of the day, we suffered for it because after that point, things got really bad between you and I.
Yeah. For like months after, things were not good.
About 3 months. Yeah.
I was very sad. I felt like I was cut down to my bases. I felt like a tree that had just been chopped down. Yeah. I feel like I went in very excited and very just excited and young and, giddy, just excited. And I felt like I was just cut down, and I felt like, who am I? What's the point in me? I'm no good. Like, this isn't gonna happen. Basically,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with me. That's what I felt for months after. There's something wrong with me. Like that went wrong because there's something wrong with me. It was very unclear what was gonna happen with me and you because it was kind of an awkward situation. It's hard to know why something's going wrong in the moment, like when you're so in it. It was just a very, very not nice time.
Yeah. Me personally, I'd say what happened during that time was we distanced. Yeah. And the shaytaan got involved, right? Now, if the shaytaan wasn't involved before by making us...
We weren't trying to do anything wrong.
No.
We were trying to just let everybody feel involved and everybody... It wasn't... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we were trying to make families feel involved in a positive way and it just went so wrong.
What happened after that point was it seemed like this is not really going to work. Yeah. But me and Amara wanted to kind of keep contact. So we did this thing where it was like, we kind of forced it. Yeah. In my personal life, then during those 3 months, when I say the shaitan opened up 1,000 doors for me, that happened. Opportunities were presented to me. Certain avenues opened up. Yeah. And you know, they say that shaitan doesn't open the door wide. He just lets you peep through when you're feeling low and a bit defeated. And like I said, prior to meeting you, I was already not enjoying life where I was. Do you know what I mean? I was trying to make a change, and then I've just felt like, okay, well, that's a stumbling block. Where do I go now? Because I've just spent 6 months being a fool and being in limbo and messing somebody else along. Or do you know what I mean? I didn't really know what was going on, and the shaitan presented me with a million opportunities during that time. Anything you can think of, basically. Yeah, it feels even darker that no matter where you turn, all you can see is shaitan.
Yeah.
If we wanted to spend time, it seemed like the only way we could actually figure out how to spend time was in a way that wasn't necessarily halal.
Yeah, because now if you came to my mum's house,
It's
she was
awkward.
like, well, what's happening? Like, what's happening? That went terribly. So, like, where are we going from here? Like, mum was very much like, okay, what's next? Though?
Yeah. Do we meet in secret then?
Yeah.
And then
Our communication was just breaking down as well.
But
Just
we really
shut
want to
down.
be around each other and talk to each other. So then what do
But
we
we're
do?
just sad as
Do you know what I
well.
mean? Shaitan presents you with a million opportunities, and there are so many people go astray during these times, and it was so easy to go astray during these times, and everything felt really, really dark.
Yeah, it did. It was a very sad time.
So I think what had happened is we'd held out until Ramadan, and then with the blessings of Ramadan coming, and you get this spiritual, religious charge and stuff like this, we kind of gave our heads a little wobble, and we got our families to meet up the way that they should have met up.
Yeah.
And we were kind of back on the road.
Yeah.
So things are formalized now, and we are trying to find a venue, or we're moving towards like wedding plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no date being set at all yet.
Yeah.
And my side is very much like, okay, if this is happening, there should be a provisional date because things take a long time to book and everything. But it's less about the wedding and more about, are they going to get married, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my side, including me, is like, okay, we're going to have a rough date. Is it going to be like next year, next summer? When's it going to be? And Sufyan, you and your side are like not really saying a date. It's very vague. Not really talking about, like, when we're meeting as families, you're not really like up for talking about anything. It's more just like, nice to meet you guys, Slum. And then we're like afterwards, nothing was really said at all. Like, there's no clarity, nothing's getting any clearer. Then Mum goes Scotland, and my family are very proactive.
Very, very proactive.
And Mum's
if Amara mentions to her mum that, oh, we should go to Spain like in the summer, it will be booked by the end of the week.
Listen, they get things done.
Yeah, they do get things done.
Mum goes to Scotland, and they're all like, so they're getting married then, inshallah. Mum's like, yeah, they're getting married, inshallah. And then they're like, are you doing separate ones? Are you doing one together? And we're just considering all options at that point, aren't we? Are we going to do split events, basically?
Yeah.
Because in Pakistani culture, like, the woman's side pay for one of them, the man's side pay for one of them. And me and Sufyan always just said to each other, we want a joint thing, like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
We just wanted one.
Yeah, it's one day, just get it all done.
Yeah.
But because there was such different, like, well, there was like no date being set on your side, and then my family were like all on board, and you know, my family like ready to go, excited, and because it was like that, my mom was like, okay, well, why don't we do it a split way, and we do our side, and then you're halal for each other, and you're married, and then they can do their side when they want.
Yeah. So what had happened was we had some family issues going on at that time. And when there were things going on within the house, basically all of the extra things like marriage and stuff, that
I feel so sad for you because you're balancing like,
that went on hold, didn't it?
Yeah.
So if there's some stuff going on in the house. I don't want to divulge too much into what was happening in the house, but I know it's just some personal family things. Yeah, some things that needed ironing out.
Yeah.
And until these things are ironed out, we can't really progress with anything because we've got some issues that need resolving
wedding talks
first.
aren't up for
Do you know what I mean? Wedding's not on the table right now. You end up knowing what your family are like. Yeah. You can't just fix the thing on the spot. Some people take longer to solve things. Certain packages take longer to resolve or something like that. Yeah, maybe I'll be okay just tomorrow starting again. Maybe somebody else may not be okay starting again, or maybe it'll take longer for me than the other person. And, you know what I mean? You have to balance family dynamics. So there were some personal family issues which needed ironing out at the time.
And there was no time scale for them?
No, there was no time scale. So what I'm trying to do during this time, I know my family. It just takes a second. Just chill out. Just chill out and sit back. But on the flip side, your mum's looking for a wedding venue, which is totally understandable. She should have been, Your mum's speaking with her family and they're like, okay, well, let's find a place, go out and look for something now. This is an exciting event, obviously. Let's get it sorted, innit? We were moving at totally different speeds, basically. And I remember your mum calling me. My mum wanted certain people to be at the wedding and wanted to do it in a certain way. And it's important to me to satisfy my family and in particular my mum's side of the family because my dad's side of the family will just come to wherever. As long as you invite anybody, they're going to turn up. But with the Pakistani side, there's more of like a traditional cultural expectation of how you do things and who sits where and what, you know, those things like that. So those things needed
that stuff's stressful, isn't it?
Weddings are so stressful. So those things needed ironing out. But that wasn't at the table yet. We can't talk about that. And when we do get to the point where we're going to talk about it, then we can sort all the things out like that. But I just know we're not there yet. We need to wait. You sit back, give it a couple of weeks, and we'll be fine. But your mum's there now.
She's like, so who do you want there? What are you like? Oh, I can't even.
I don't know how to answer these questions. So
I don't speak the language.
So your mum called me at some point and said, Sufyan, I'm trying not to divulge too much information to
me and my side.
Because obviously, look, you're talking about I'm a man in this situation, and my priority is to protect my family and protect their image because nothing really is going wrong here, and they're a really good family. They're probably the best family.
But it was looking on my side like things were going
so
very
I have to
wrong.
preserve and protect their image in front of your family. It's not like a blag like they're horrible, but I'm trying to make them be. My family are amazing. You know that they're a great family in it. I've got to preserve their image and make sure that people don't think negatively of things. I have to preserve my own image.
But you look like because you were looking flaky.
I know.
You were looking.
And then to my family, I have to preserve your image. And I was just doing a massive balance.
I feel really sad for you.
I
feel very sad for you.
I promise. I was juggling.
It was a lot for you.
It was.
I tried to like get my family to like just trust you and trust it was going, but it was just looking really bad.
I understand that.
And I felt so sad for you because it wasn't your fault that it was looking bad. You're just trying to make everybody happy at the same time for a boy. Story of your life.
Story of my life.
But yeah, because it takes time to like find a venue and to thingy, and it's a thing of everybody needs to be available, which is we've got families at work, so it's okay, it's a holiday then. So to my family it's like, well, there's only these 2 times of the year where it's possible. Which time are you going for?
What happened, your mum called me and said, do you know what, Sufyan, because I'm not telling your mum really what's going on. I'm saying, don't worry, I'm everyone's on board and stuff like that. Your mum says, we're just going to book it on this side then. There's a castle here, we're going to book this castle and we'll do it here, and then your side do that.
Scottish castle.
And I was thinking, this is going to ruin everything. You don't know who wants to be there, how many people have. Do you know what I mean? This is going to ruin everything at all. And I was like, me. No, but I spoke to your mum because obviously your mum's just trying to book things and she's communicating through you, not through me. So on this phone call, I said, look, this isn't about Amara or you or any side of family. We're just having a little something that we need to resolve within our family right now. Please just have some sabr right now and have some patience with me. I totally understand.
I'm a serious guy.
No, I spoke to her and your mum just said, okay, Sophie.
Mum was always like that with
I
you.
thought she said, okay, Sufyan, okay. Then let's reapproach it in a bit then. And I was like, okay, alhamdulillah.
As long as you communicated with my mum, she was fine. If you didn't communicate with her because you were juggling a lot at once, and I look like a
flake. I don't look like a dodgy guy, basically.
You are a dodgy guy. But you had walls up, but not as in walls up, not communicating, but you were too busy juggling everything that you didn't stop to communicate anything, because how can you? You don't even know what's happening. You're just trying to make the situation better.
And do you know what it is? My nature is I don't talk too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm close to somebody, then we'll talk. But you know, to like the outside world, and
Yeah. You don't like explaining yourself either.
No, I
And
don't.
my
I don't
mum
believe.
needed you to explain yourself a bit.
Valid.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But I refuse to explain myself
Yeah.
in situations.
You're
Not to your mum.
Yeah.
But I think
In life,
in
you
life,
don't
generally,
explain yourself.
what am I explaining myself for? Why do I owe you an explanation? Not to your mum,
Yeah.
but so it's my normal character. Yeah. Like if you want to think negative of me, then think negative. I don't care. Yeah. Do you thinking this about me or thinking I do this or doing all your little guesses? I don't care. It doesn't affect my real life. So I had to break that. Do you know what I mean?
I thank Allah for that, man.
Alhamdulillah.
I thank Allah that you had the relationship with my mum, that it just, even now your relationship with mum is like, do you know what I mean? You get on so well and you speak so well together that I can see that even back then, the beginnings of it were there. Do you know what I mean? Like, because if it could have just all been shut down and over, man.
Yeah.
During this time, you're trying to figure out things in your household and everything.
Yeah.
My health went like bad. After things went bad with the meat, my health wasn't good. I was trying to work on my health and get everything back up again. I felt like myself took an L there. Trying to get myself back up. Trying to get the wedding things on the table. Trying to set a date. Your side doesn't want to do a date yet. My side's really wanting a date. You're trying to juggle everybody. And then what happens?
What happened is it's come to, it's like approaching the summer. It's May. And look, basically I lost my job. Yeah. It's through some circumstances that we'll speak about in the next video. So in the next video, I'll actually go into this topic.
Poor boy.
It's extremely triggering. It's not a nice conversation.
I mean, after all that work, like you finally get everything, like
Yeah.
you finally try and get everything together and show that you're a serious guy, and then you just lose your job.
I lost my job.
SubhanAllah.
I lost my job. So I was told that after the summer, I won't have a job with this company anymore. So now, whilst I've just kind of got back around to ironing things out and the wedding's about to be planned, I've spent time with your dad.
Asked his permission,
asked for your
everything.
hand. I've had dinner with your dad. The families have met. Your dad's come round, met all of my all of the in-laws. Everyone's met everybody.
We've discussed we're gonna move out after marriage. We're gonna we have a plan. So my health's not great at this time, but Sufyan's working full time. I'm working part time. My health's not great, but at least Sufyan's got a full time job. And our plan is we get married, inshallah, and we move out and we start this like new life together, inshallah.
Yeah.
Then Sufyan loses his job.
Yeah.
And this wedding is still going ahead and everything, but we don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah. One of the reasons that I didn't want to get married is because my finances weren't where I want them to be.
Yeah.
And I want my wife to not have to work. I don't want my wife working. Yeah. I will pay for everything. You relax. Just need to focus on you and relationships.
I
and
always
stuff like that.
said though, until I have kids, I'm really happy.
Yeah, but I didn't want you to have to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want a certain amount of money where if you choose to go into work, then that's fine, but you don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to contribute to this. Do you know what I mean? So we had enough money to do certain things and we had enough money for a plan.
Yeah.
And then I lost my job and my income goes to zero.
SubhanAllah.
And I had limited savings. Yeah.
That's hard for a man.
What can I do?
That's so hard.
I told you, I said, look, this is the situation I'm in. When we get past the summer, I'm not going to have a job.
Yeah.
Now, listen, how many things do you need to point to the fact that you're not meant to be with somebody? The meetups didn't work. We've got shaytaan messing with us in our heads and stuff like that. Nothing's really going smoothly. There's family disputes and internally. Amara's getting family disputes on her side internally. These two guys, it's just not really working out for them. And we're forcing it. And then I lost my job. And I'm thinking, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just giving me a sign. Fair enough.
This whole time as well, we're both making dua. We're both praying and saying, Ya Allah, if it's best for us, please let it happen.
Yeah.
If it's not best
you do
for us.
istikhara and things like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Amara was sad for me, but not for us. It was nice to see or nice to hear that you said, listen, well, if you still want this and like you loved me, you told me that you love me, and we'll just make something work. And we kind of came up with a plan where I'll still live with my parents, you'll still live with your parents.
We're like, at least we can still see each other on the weekends.
Yeah, and we'll spend time on the weekends, or
Have
we'll
a
spend time in the
sleepover.
week. Yeah, you can stay at mine sometimes. I'll say. So we made this like alternate plan, and then it came to a point where I just wasn't happy with what I was bringing to the table at that point, and I'd actually considered going to your parents and saying, "Look, I'm not the right guy," and saying I can't provide for your daughter. So I love her, I would never hurt her, but I can't provide for her, so maybe you want to withdraw the proposal in it. And I was coming to that point, and it's crazy because I was in a place. If you go full circle from I didn't even want to be in a relationship to seeing you and thinking, oh my gosh, this is magical. I really like this girl. Then thinking, oh, actually, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Then thinking, okay, let's sort this out. To thinking, actually, I'm not even eligible for her. And at the start, when I met you, I give myself high values, but I thought, who's this angel dropped out of the sky for me? Allah's one to put someone like that for me. That's not going to work. Do you know what I mean? I seriously thought about just going to your dad and to your mum and saying, look, I'm not the one for your daughter, basically, and I'm sorry for wasting your time.
Look how much we would have missed.
Yeah, man.
It felt so intangible, me being with you. Like the whole time was so high stakes all the time, and not in the fun way. You know, some people are like, oh, it's so crazy and dramatic, it's so fun. No, it didn't feel like that. It felt like, oh my god, I want to be with this person so much, and I just can't be with this person. I can't be with this one. It felt difficult all the time.
Yeah, it did.
Not us though, like we weren't difficult, but everything outside us. We always said that as well.
We couldn't get
everything
anywhere,
outside of us just felt like impassable.
There were just walls, high walls everywhere.
And it couldn't even just be that only us two matter. It's just not like that. It's like everybody's opinion kind of had to be part of
and
it.
we come from family units as well, don't we?
And our families mean so much to us.
So what happened at this point was a job role popped up. I was a teacher with kind of like head of maths, basically.
Yeah.
A job role opened up for me to be a head teacher, and I thought, I ain't gonna get that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't gonna get that. But we prepped for it. I worked really, really hard. I had to do a big presentation and everything.
You were so nervous, I remember.
I got no 6-week holidays. I worked all the way through the holidays, prepping this thing, and then did the job interview. A week later, got a call and said, you've been successful. The job's yours. And I was like, I nearly cried. Yeah. That was like, at that point, it was
you put in graft, though. That holidays, I remember you put in graft. It was like, it was so important to you to like, you were such a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I felt like Allah had favored me in this moment, and Allah had mercy on me. You know, I was like, I don't know where to turn. Obviously, all I did was turn to Allah during that moment when I was losing my job. Times were hard. All of a sudden, you get a job as a head teacher, and you jump up brackets. Yeah? The wage has gone up brackets, and all of a sudden I'm making way more than I was making before at the last job. And I remember thinking, like, are you sure? And I remember messaging you the contract and saying, look, here's my contract, this is how much I'm making, alhamdulillah, and stuff like that. But it just meant that things were possible again. And I couldn't see a way in which they would be. And as a man, that's so important. The finances need to be in check, you know?
But especially for you, you're that guy that you want to have these things, and do you know what I mean? So much for you to like be able to take care of everything. Do you know what I mean? Alhamdulillah.
So basically, you got back on track.
You wanted to come correct as well. You're the guy that you want to come correct, innit?
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, look, from that point onwards, really, everything went smoothly.
Yeah.
We got married, we had a really nice wedding. Everything went really smoothly with the families.
Yeah.
And it's like this veil of stress was just lifted, and then it just became so easy.
Oh, I was so excited to finally be with you.
It became so easy. Yes, and there were still doubts up until the wedding day, but after the
for
wedding
you,
day,
not for me.
Well, no, I mean, like, you get
with
nervous,
the
don't you? I know, I just got nervous. You get nervous, you think I'm doing it. From the wedding morning, actually. From when I woke up in the morning, I was so
I didn't know if you were going to show up. That was my doubt.
I
was like literally, like, I was getting ready and stuff to me. I was like, I wonder if he's going to show up, you know. Then it's on the wedding day, and I'm just so happy. And I'm like to everybody, obviously you can't see the groom straight away. Do you know what I mean? So I'm asking everybody, have you seen Sufyan? Have you seen Sufyan? They're like, she's running a bit late. I was like, oh, right, okay. Let's see Sufyan. And then they're like, yeah, he's there. I'm like, does he look happy? How does he look?
Because life is stressful. Life is stressful, alhamdulillah.
I can't believe, like, at the end of the day when we got married, and we're just walking outdoors, I was like, yes!
We did it!
We're here!
So we wanted to do a section in this video, which is obviously at the end now, where we kind of reflected and concluded on what happened, because things did go really, really wrong.
And this is slightly contentious, because this is a topic we don't talk about a lot, because I don't know for you, maybe you're more rational about it and less emotional. Brings up a lot of emotions for me, this.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
understand that.
That was a really horrible time, and I still don't fully know what went wrong. Although it's that thing that if you dive back as an adult and you look into it, you can
figure it out.
You can figure it out, but it hurts to go back.
Yeah,
it hurts to go back and think about it, because it felt so like unfair and difficult at the time. So I don't go back and think about it a lot.
Do you know what? Sometimes when you want to reflect on things, that's fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes what happens then, if that doesn't affect now
Yeah.
and won't affect the future, it doesn't matter.
That's what we kind of do, though. We agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But then we're
And
making
move
this
on.
video, so
No, it's
so we
fine.
need to dive back.
But what I would say, and it's a lesson for other people as well as ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously we've got a daughter, and inshallah, there will come a time where we have to do these parenting, things. You know, so I'd say that we approach the situation incorrectly from an Islamic viewpoint. The rules of Islam are very clear.
And they're there to literally protect you and make it simple.
And there can be no problems if you approach things like this. I mean, you can still marry a psycho, or I can still marry some Bessie or someone that's like
the process is protected, though. Yeah.
from nonsense.
Yeah, and from a lot of pain as well.
It does. It ensures that the family have their roles, and that the parents speak to the parents, and then the youngest speak to the youngest, and then the youngest speak. Do you know what I mean? The dynamics are created in a certain way, and they're ordained and set in a certain way for that reason. Yeah. We didn't go about it that way.
But we weren't trying to do it the wrong way. And I think that's the thing with a lot of people, is they're not trying to do it the wrong way. But you just got to be so switched on.
You have to be switched on. And I think that when you've not done those things before, I think the problem with this situation and what we did then lies, you got to go way back. So like I did say it a little earlier in the video, and remember that we are Muslims. So anyone who says, oh, well, doesn't agree with that, we're talking through a Muslim scope. So you go to high school, you go to college, you go to university, mixed settings. You go to work, mixed settings, and have unlimited access to all of these different types of females, and you have different types of males. But when it comes to your wife, that's the one or the woman that you're going to marry in the courting process. That's the one you know the least. It's
kind of like you're desensitized to boundaries the whole time you're growing up, and then when you're ready to get married and
everyone's throwing these boundaries on you,
and you're like, but this person I've got to be super comfortable with, and super like know inside out.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? As
a single person then looking through a single scope, you think, but I want to get to know her though. These problems were created years ago. And we've grown up for 10 years, 20 years of being in this kind of system and setting already, and now it's kind of too late. Do you know what I mean? For me to just meet someone through the parents, and the parents sit down and I talk to you for what? Let's say I spend 100 hours with someone, but my wife, I'm only going to spend 20 hours with her, and I'm just meant to know.
I know it sounds really mad, but I even say that I don't know what the rule is, right? But I even say down to this, like these days, you climb in an Uber with a male driver. So sometimes you think then when you get married to somebody, like, so I can go in an Uber with a guy, but I can't sit in the car, can't sit in the back with the person that I'm gonna like marry. But the like Islamically, you wouldn't know.
The lines are very blurred.
It's so weird. And in those times, you're not looking to you are looking to justify things that are wrong, but you're just looking to be around that person as much as you're around anybody else of the opposite sex, which is all the time. It feels like, well, if I can be around them, why can't I be around them? But it's just, the boundaries are just so important. Also, I think what you're saying about college and uni and stuff is so true, because my parents literally moved us to Manchester for me to go to an Islamic high school, a girls only Islamic high school. Like their intentions fully there, like, oh, I want my kids on the deen, so sent me to a girls Muslim high school, moved across, like, you know what I mean, the country kind of thing to do that. But it doesn't stop after high school.
It doesn't stop after high school.
So you protect the kid for high school, and then
what?
They're in college, they're thrown into a mixed college and thrown into a mixed uni, and like, you don't get single sex unis here and thing. No, but I'm saying this is the problem with like Muslims. This is a problem Muslims struggle with, is they're kind of left to it by themselves for maybe not always college, because you get single sex college, but for uni, you know, it's like party central. Like how many Muslims like fall off the wagon basically when they get to uni, because it's so much.
What do you want to do?
And you're not ready. You're still a kid. How do you expect
people to cope in that environment?
You're still a kid though. I think parents these days think it's like when they were younger, and to them they were kind of grown at uni. But now it's like you're a kid at uni. It's so much to have to resist and be strong against. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. So in terms of Islam, getting married is completing half of your deen. So half of your faith, your religion is complete just by getting married. Now, obviously, we do have a concept and a belief in Allah and the shaytaan. There are hadiths where the shaytaan or the devil sends out his minions in the day, so the shayateen or his little demons. He looks amongst the shayateen and he says, oh, who can I put a crown on today? Which one of you is going to be my commander-in-chief today? Who can we celebrate the most? They go out for the day, they come back, and one of them says, look, I broke up a man and his wife. I broke up a man and his wife. I've made them separate. And the shaitan will call that one and say, you're my prince today, basically. And that is like one of the pinnacle of pinnacle is break up that family, that Muslim family. So the deen is all messed up now. Instead of them being together, and he doesn't need to lust for the other women anymore, and she don't need to lust for other men, and they're going to have righteous offspring. Break it up. Don't let this build. The shaitan does not want you to get married. And it was so evident for me on the route to getting married that the shaitan intervened as frequently as possible. He put doubts in my mind. He made other girls approach me. He put like parties and drugs there with doors open. He put violence in front of me. He made me doubt you. He made me fall out with our family. He made my family fall out with me. He made your mum fall out with you. Do you know what I mean? He made so many, all of these things that happened. He put open the doors. He wanted us to spend time in certain kind of, all of these things just to break it down. Let me get that sin in before these two tie the knot.
Destroy it.
Yeah, let me try and corrupt them as much as possible.
Let me make them not want to be with each other. Because there was times where we were like, maybe we're wrong for each other. If everything's going wrong around us, and
then how could we? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you could just feel it all the time. Yeah. That's what was just happening all the time.
It felt like a dark time.
It was a dark time. At the same time, if getting married fulfills half of your deen, then Allah will surely test you. Yeah. Yeah. And the same time, while the shaitan is playing these games, Allah is testing you. Are you gonna get married? Is this a good thing for you? Then prove it. Yeah. And the way that you get tested is by the bad things being put in your face, by the other women being put in your face. How do you respond to that situation? Turn around and say, look, I'm only on this deen. When the other doors open and you've got squabbles with your parents, say, look, I'm not going to fall out with my parents. I'm on this deen. Every opportunity to do haram is an opportunity to do halal instead, and reinstill your faith and reaffirm your belief. Yeah. And with all the things that went wrong, when I lost my job, that for me was like the biggest test. When one door closes, another door opens. Allah closed one door and opened another one, because I would never progress to the money that I was on then. I'm on a different job now. Money that I was on then in that job. Yeah,
Allah gave you better.
Never. Allah opened something and threw money at me and made it so easy for us to get married.
And we worked together at that new job.
Yeah, we did.
Our first years of marriage, we were just together.
That's another story. That's another story.
Time.
So I guess my message to everybody is, well, there's a message to parents to think about how we're raising our children. We are parents now as well. Yeah. That's a crazy thing, isn't it? To think about how we're raising our children, and that these steps that we put in early, we have to see them through. Yeah, we have to have robust plans.
Protect your kids.
We have to protect our children. Yeah.
Don't think that they're done, innit? Don't think that after high school or after college they're done. They need you so much longer than that.
They do. And I know it's hard.
It's a different world as well.
No, but it's a
different world. Like it's such a different world. I know kids look older and they act older, but they need you so much. Like, do you know what I mean? University especially is a very testing time. Your kids need your guidance. Because that's when the tests come. You know, the test between boys and girls, that is when it hits hard, like those ages. Do you know what I mean?
One of the types of people that is promised Jannah, there's like 5 people or 7 types of people, I can't remember. One of them, like, who gives charity with his right hand, but his left hand doesn't know about it. Yeah. And one of them is the one who stayed away from fornication and things of that nature and just stayed committed to Islam and was a man of the mosque during those adolescent years,
because it's so hard and it's so rare,
and that's something that was said back then, and it's way harder now. That's why the Quran and Islam came for all time.
But the reward is so high if you can make it through those years. You can make it through those years, which is very rare these days. Then you promised everything, you know.
Yeah, may Allah make it easy for us all, and may Allah make it easy for all of us on this search for love and finding spouses.
And just remember, if you've got somewhere now that you're like, oh, we're getting engaged soon, we're getting married soon, watch out for the test.
Literally, watch out for the test.
Watch out for the test.
Because if the shaitan couldn't get you outside of that situation and say, oh, let me distract him or her with something else, then he'll get you there before you're getting married. You'll see the doors open, and inshallah, everyone can stay strong, because it's worth it in the end. Yeah.
And that's why Islam does short engagements, guys.
Short engagements. Do you know what I mean? So that was our story. That was our how we really met story. I felt like my body's been twisted to the side the whole time. I should have just sat like this instead. That would have been so much. Would this have been a better shot? Would that have been a better shot?
It's too late now, brother.
But I apologise for the lighting. We've got the curtains open and it's been fluctuating. We had a baby break as well.
Yeah, I had a feeding
In the
break.
middle of the video. Yeah. So do you want to add anything at the end there?
No, that was how we really met.
It is how we really met.
There's just a lot behind the scenes that went on, basically,
There was.
that made it testing. But alhamdulillah, we got there. in the end.
Alhamdulillah. And look now.
And it made marriage all the sweeter. Well, that first year was rough.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it made like the wedding and getting married like so sweet. Like, swear to God, if you ask anybody, I was just grinning on that day. Like, I was so happy.
And I guess
we got there.
What's so shocking is that our families love us.
Yeah.
And loved each, and there's been no conflict. There was actually nothing
Families
wrong.
are very like
The whole time there was
very
nothing
compatible.
wrong. Yeah, there was nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It was just a shaytaan.
Yeah.
It was just a shaytaan. And you can get you, and single people are malleable and vulnerable. And you just don't think the same when you're married as you do when you're single. You just don't.
If you like this video, okay. I'm just thinking it's been 4 years and I'm still not over it, bro. Like,
Well, this is, inshallah, this is closure now.
Inshallah.
To all of our family watching, I hope we didn't offend any of you. If you did, forgive us, because we're good Muslims.
And we try it. We'll make mistakes, bro.
We'll make
We make mistakes all the time. If you like this video, please give it a like.
Yeah, please make sure that you share the video. Make sure you like it. Make sure
Please
you
drop
subscribe
us a little commentary, please.
Yeah, please do, because YouTube, I don't think people are really getting our videos.
Yeah, some people are like, oh my
you're either
gosh, you had a baby?
You're either choosing not to watch them, or they're not ending up on your feed. So make sure you like, comment, give it a share. And then if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Share your own experiences and thoughts on this matter in the comment section.
Yeah.
We can have some nice mature conversations. And
How did meeting your in-laws go for the first time?
for the first time, yeah. Alhamdulillah, we can admit our faults.
Yeah.
Yeah. And may Allah protect us all in the future.
I shouldn't have worn joggers.
Yeah. Are they like Barbie joggers or something?
No, that makes them sound bad.
They were
I was literally thinking
they were the most appropriate joggers you've got.
I was thinking though, it's come back around because Barbie's out now. I could totally rock them again, and people think I'm cool.
Next video, we will be talking about the job.
Yes.
And what happened there, and that is a very interesting topic, which I'm sure many people will have a lot to say on.
Yeah.
We are the X's. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Stay halal. Deuces.